in January, I was having the thought of quitting, and now here I am.
I was expecting that I had a really good shot at being first place. When I was in the last game, I was just playing really safe. I was trying to guarantee my spot to New York. I just needed that one lucky string of games. Everything just worked out fine this week. I think I got really lucky. I got good RNG. Eventually, it worked out. I just grinded my hardest. My advice for players trying to reach the top 3,000 is to always look back at your VODs, try and figure out what mistakes you've made, try and figure out what you can do better. You can also look at other players who have been more consistent, see what they do, try and implement that into your own game. The last couple of weeks, I wasn't very confident, but this week I just said, okay, I'm going to qualify. Whatever happens, happens.
Preparing for everything, like example tennis. Tennis is really good for that because when you play individual in tennis, you need to work on yourself and you need to not go down if you lose a point. It's the same thing in Fortnite. You need to continue working and keep your mental up. And I think that's really huge, and my parents really helped me through that too. My advice to everyone would just be to keep grinding. You never know when you could pop off. Like for me, 1 week changed everything. Even if I don't do good, I think it's still gonna be an insane thing for my life and everything. I will always remember that.
I think when I won a Ninja's event, it gave me the motivation to know that like I can qualify for World Cup, and it gave me the confidence that I needed. I've been practicing with my friends, Epic Whale, Scented, and we've been just practicing scrims and stuff like that. I've been practicing like 6 hours a day.
I've been pretty confident that I'd be able to make it to some event at some point just because I've been putting in like 10 hours a day. I have a little bit of a routine. Sometimes it varies, but I usually start off Kovaxing for a little bit and then moving on to the creative before I get into custom matchmaking in like Atlantis Discord. So my advice to up and coming players that want to like do well in the comp scene is watch and learn from the best players in the world, like Benji, Savage, and like people like Cease and Elevate that are just the best players in the world. You just watch their VODs and their gameplay and you pick up stuff, learn from the best, and you'll improve.
What's up, Fortnite fam? Sundown here, and today we are going to talk about shadow bombs and their impact on competitive play. If you haven't had a chance to use the shadow bomb yet, it is a utility consumable that drops in stacks of 2, and you can carry up to 6 per slot. When used, the shadow bomb grants the user invisibility, move speed, the ability to double jump, and the ability to wall jump. Shadow form lasts for 6 seconds, but will remain active after that window until the user touches their feet on the ground. We've seen shadow bombs already have a huge impact on some of the Fortnite World Cup online open qualifiers.
Can he hit it? Oh my gosh! He hits it! You freaking legend! Are you kidding me?
Now, let's hear what some of the players who have already qualified for the Fortnite World Cup final think of the addition of shadow bombs to competitive play.
I think with Season 9, the shadow bombs are a perfect mobility that has its downsides and upsides if you use it right.
I mean, I think shadow bombs are very balanced right now. They're a really good way of getting mobility considering they're an uncommon item.
I feel like they're a really good addition to the game. It's as good as a Rift to Go, maybe even better in my opinion. You can get your position wherever you want to, especially end zone. People don't expect it.
A little bit of HP left. You're gonna pull it!
It's a must carry. You know, when that zone pops and you're super far, you can pop a shadow bomb and just get to the next zone. It's great. I love them.
Shadow bombs are amazing. Like, I reckon that's like one of the best things they've brought out so far, because you could just sneak into someone's box or like get high ground or like go low ground without taking damage.
There's moments where people clutch up, like very end game, like they might not have mats. And the Mr. Savage play where there's a hill and he went up it with the shadow bomb, it was just crazy.
They've got to go up the side of a mountain, and it's shadow bomb time. He's deciding to take storm damage. Yes. Mr. Savage! Oh my God! Oh my goodness! What a play! The best shadow bomb use I've ever seen! Mr. Savage M rising to the top of the mountain.
Thanks for watching, and hopefully you learned a thing or two. What's the best way you've used a shadow bomb? Send us clips using the hashtag Fortnite World Cup, and we'll see you guys on the battle bus. Or maybe not, if you're in shadow form.
Hey Fortnite fam, Ball2W here to get in the nitty gritty of competitive Fortnite. final circles in competitive Fortnite are packed tightly with both action and players, all fighting to get the victory royale. Let's introduce one of the most common techniques used to outlast your opponents in those congested final zones. What is tunneling? Also known as snaking or pathing, this is when you build a protected tunnel while running away from the storm and into the next safe zone. When these safe zones get so small, this becomes very, very important, as there can be opposing players on all sides of you. Here's an example of the most basic tunnel, the straight tunnel. From your base, you simply build straight towards your destination straight ahead of you, with the floor piece below your feet and above your head. This is the most basic and also dangerous version of the tunnel, since you're not covering horizontally. You're exposed from your sides. However, you save materials by doing this. The materials you spend covering your sides quickly add up. Then, if you need to go diagonally to get where you need to go, you'll often see players do the diagonal tunnel. At its most basic, it's very similar. You're just changing directions as you go, once left, once right. This is very useful since sometimes you'll encounter enemies that you want to get away from on the road to the victory royale, or the next safe zone is in a diagonal direction. So just change directions and move, but make sure to stay safe from the storm. Now we talked about how you're exposed from your sides. In both versions, you can add walls to either side, or both left and right, or even in front as well. This gets really hard really fast, and this is why it's so impressive that not only are these high-level players tunneling so fast and without error, but at the same time going for crazy plays on unsuspecting opponents to rack up elimination points as well as placement points. It's a lot to take in, and oftentimes they do things so fast that you can't even keep up. Watching players like Cease, Bizzle, Mongrel, Benji Fishy, and all the players playing in the Fortnite World Cup Online Open play from their tunnels can be jaw-dropping. So there you have it. Tunneling, one of the most important skills in competitive Fortnite. It's pretty simple at its core, but at the high pace of these congested endgames, it gets complicated. That means you need to practice, and make sure to hop in creative mode and do just that. You can practice it in the open on your own island, or use one of the many amazing pre-built training courses that creators have made. This was BallaTW, and we'll see you in game.
Alright, Fortnite fam, we're here for week number 7, back to solo action, and of course, as always, let's get this vlog started.
Look at this. They're getting ready for the broadcast. They're playing a little bit of duo action.
Ready, boys?
I'm gonna go for the Battle Royale.
The ultimate Battle Royale. It's Royale.
Alright, guys, it's week 7!
I just broke my toe. Okay, you did it? I really suck.
The Fortnite World Cup Finals in New York City. There you can see the qualifiers per region. Everyone's going to get a spot.
Oh yeah, and this build not nearly as high up as I actually expected to be. And Smack just made the ultimate mistake. Nuked himself down from the high ground.
It's so impressive how Dr. Lupo is just constantly impressed by technology. You know, that's what happens when you're a senior citizen. You know?
Honestly, I can see Dr. Lupo over on the side getting ready to start the game, so we're going to have to get in the back.
Go, go, go!
Or do you see anything that you shouldn't right now?
We use a lot of replays during the broadcast, during analyst segments, and wrapping up the show. So now if you're curious as to how they're made, let's actually go meet up with David, Sundown's best friend and partner in crime.
What's up, Fortnite fam? My name's David, and I do the replays. Replays are pretty simple or complex, depending on what type of person you are. Whenever we see anyone, we can hit the slow-mo. We can also zoom in, so anything that you miss, or when those guys hit those far-out snipes that are just a single pixel, give you a little better perspective on it. Usually during my job, I either work with Sundown, or I work with Balla, your boy Zeke, maybe Lupo. He's sitting right here next to me. I'll be showing them clips. We'll be working on breaking them down together, so whenever they go out on set and do the analyst package, I'm the one who rolls it, and they're the one who gets to talk about it and make it sound cool.
Dr. Lupo currently going to try and qualify here in the North America East section.
Yeah, you got this, bro. This is freaking great. Living my best life.
I actually got brought a plate of food. Like, which is really nice because it's kind of like I do feel better now after watching that last game from Ball.
This is great. Thank you so much, production. Appreciate that.
There's actually a lot that goes into the way the Fortnite broadcast is cut. So let's go meet up with Ian and learn more.
What's up, Fortnite fan? I'm Ian, and I'm the technical director here, which means that I program and push buttons all day. We use this production switcher that has every video source that the broadcast uses fed into it, including cameras, graphics, our replay channels, and all of our in-game observers. And once they're here, we have the ability to select which one we're going to show on the stream. So if I go and I cut to camera 1, you at home are going to be looking at camera 1. And if I say, okay, let's go ahead and wipe into game, then we're going to go ahead and wipe into game here. So throughout the show, Joe, the director, will be instructing me on which source we're going to go to next. Sometimes it's a composition of the two, and he's always real nice about how he goes about that.
Read 1, take! Read 2, take! Read 4, take! Read replay, wipe it right! Read 5, take 5! Read 6! And wipe it again!
Week 7 was great. Having a blast at solos. Can't believe we know 80% of our players will be competing in the Fortnite World Cup. My big standout for me is Dubs. 4 times has placed and qualified for the Fortnite World Cup. I think Dubs right now is the best solo player in the world. Get at me.
Reverse 2K, you made it from summer skirmish. You know, this is the waves, the ebbs and tides, man. To come up and make it to World Cup, I think he proved a lot of people wrong, and I'm proud of him. He's come all the way through.
In week 7, we got brand new tech, augmented reality. We actually got to chat with Michael Gay to learn all about it.
My name is Michael Gay. I'm the director of cinematic production at Epic Games, and what we're adding here to the show this week is a cool feature we're calling AR Wall. So what this gives us the ability to do is bring some of Fortnite into the studio. So we're tracking the camera, and with that tracking information, we're able to bring different parts of the island into the show. So to allow us to do this, we've added this tracking device to the camera so we can figure out where the camera is in the studio. The other thing we can do is we can experiment with loading up replays and having the replay that we just covered be in the wall so casters can talk about it. This is part of something that we're improving and iterating on for World Cup, and we hope to have some really cool stuff to show you then.
That is it for week number 7. Let's all say goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
What's up, Fortnite fam? Sundown here, and today we're going to cover some of the basic terminology you should know when watching competitive Fortnite. If you're familiar with high-level gameplay, these should be commonplace and a nice little refresher. If you're a little newer, buckle in because you're about to learn up. Rotations. A rotation is the path a player or team takes to get from their current location to the next safe zone. Rotations cover not only the direction the players choose to path, but also the method they use to get there. A lot of different forms of utility enable rotations, including vehicles, rift-to-goes, building, shadow bombs, and glider redeploy. A player's ability to rotate effectively is key because this determines what type of engagements they'll be facing and whether or not they're at an advantage or disadvantage. Gatekeeping. Gatekeeping is when a player who is secure inside the safe zone puts pressure on an opponent who is forced to rotate because of the storm closing in on them. The gatekeeper is able to get uncontested shots onto the opponent, as they are forced to move due to not wanting to take damage from the storm. You will see a lot of top players utilize this in order to create opportunities to get eliminations and points. High ground advantage. High ground advantage is when you have a height advantage over your opponent and are looking down on them. Having the high ground enables you to have more access to information and easier ability to take and hit shots. You will frequently see players battling for high ground in all stages of the game, but in particular during the late game. The ultimate high ground is generally the player or team who controls the highest level during the final circles, and they have a number of advantages. They are typically the least threatened, can decide when to drop down and start taking fights, and also have great angles to punish opponents with AoE weapons or rifle fire. Low ground warrior. The next term is the opposite of the high ground. The low ground warrior is the player looking to sweep along the ground floor, taking close quarter combat fights and forcing opponents to make the first move. This can also be efficient because it often doesn't require as many materials or as much of a risk to gain control of, but can also lead to being in a lot more chaotic of an environment. Backside of the storm. Speaking of chaotic environments, our next term is possibly the most perfect embodiment of this. The backside of the storm is when the safe zone is closing in towards a new one and the players are clustered in towards one edge. Generally, it is very high density of competitors, and you will find a lot of interactions, engagements, disengagements, and eliminations occurring at this point, particularly for those low ground warriors we just talked about. 1x1s. 1x1s are the most basic proponent of building in competitive Fortnite. This is when a player boxes themselves in using their own builds, making them safe from outside fire. This technique can be expanded on to allow for players to take control of a space around them, but it all starts with the 4 walls around you, then a floor plus ceiling that each have a pyramid on them. Tunneling. Tunneling is the first basic expansion of the 1x1s. Tunneling is when players create a tunnel out of their own builds in order to rotate safely. This is typically done by putting out floors and ceilings in either a straight or diagonal path, then covering your sides with walls as you advance. This allows players without utility to rotate for maximum safety. 90s. 90s are when players utilize vertical 90-degree rotational building in order to build upwards as fast as possible, while also remaining covered. This enables players to try and gain high ground advantage or outplay their opponent to get a quick, different angle. You'll frequently see them used in mid-game build fights or in endgame scenarios where players have to build up very quickly. This has been a quick rundown of the common competitive terms that are frequently used on broadcast. If there are any other terms you're unfamiliar with, let us know using the hashtag #FortniteWorldCup and asking for an explanation. We hope this helps you level up, and we'll see you all on the battle bus.
When it actually qualified, it's actually such a relief, such a big achievement, and something I've been working for almost a year now. It feels really good.
I think it's one of my biggest accomplishments. It's just a massive, massive pool of people.
You need to be so incredibly proud of your son being one of the best, one of the best solo Fortnite players in the world.
It's still hitting me like slowly.
I was literally just laughing. Like, I was laughing so much.
Wow, I won $50,000 guaranteed, and I'm going to New York.
Yeah, gonna keep 50,000.
Oh, there you go.
As a kid, this is basically all you dream of.
The hype's really real.
It's a game I can compete in, and I think that's why I have so much fun in it.
Oh my God! Oh my goodness! What a play!
I'm incredibly grateful for Fortnite for giving me the opportunity to just pursue gaming and how many friends I've made through this game.
Thank you for everyone who believed in me, because I honestly didn't really believe in myself.
It's gonna be so fun. I love it.
It's awesome. Thanks, Fortnite.
later on to wrap up the day. The format, as you know, again, this is duo competition, so top 15, top 10, top 5, victory royale, all those placement thresholds, and every single elimination is a point. Now, of course, they are all vying for the $1 million prize pool that happens every single week. And of course, we are in week 8, only 2 more weeks of duo competition, 1 week left of solo competition. Guys, it's coming down to the wire. Fortnite fam, I hope you enjoyed the journey thus far. We still have a little bit longer to go. Sundown, what have you thought about it so far?
I mean, it's been absolutely incredible. I'm excited. Week 8, we're getting down to it. 8 duo spots up for grabs coming out of North America and Europe. But Oceania, Asia, and Brazil still get their top tier practice in there and also still competing for their share of that $1 million prize pool. So a lot of top competition coming out. And the most importantly, too, you're able to see how you can match up against those opponents coming out. So
how do they do it every time?
On the boards here, we have the X2 twins in that first place. And one thing that's super, super important to point out here, 100 elims, 16 clear of the next closest duo, but they backed it up with 4 victory royales as well. And I actually had the chance to talk with Jordan kind of last week after his solo qualification, and he talked to me a little bit about how they feel like they found their secret sauce and how coming out of the Australian Open originally, they're playing really heavy for placements, but with the 3-hour and the 10-match format, they need to kind of find ways to make it work for them. And they've been finding with a mix of when to go aggro, when they can press forward, and they've found it by going for elims and playing aggro early and then kind of tapering back into their consistent, because they know, and pretty much anybody who's watched them knows that they can play for that late game, that they are one of the best duos, they have the comms, they have the positionings, and they can close it out. But what they've found now is when they get their aggressive timings and they get the right signals to go, they'll be able to capitalize. You can see their 21 elim victory royale, and that was after they're already sitting on 70 points going into that match. So doing it against the best of the best, but as well, you see a lot of those other names up there. You have Repo, Scott, and Cypher up there as well. So a lot of the players who continually are performing are going to keep performing.
There you go. And also, we talked about OCE. Asia has also wrapped up their games. Let's take a look together and see. By the way, we thought the X2 twins had a crazy performance. Apparently, Swilliam and FaZe here, they said, hold the slurp juice. We'd like to do the same.
Hold the slurp juice, indeed. Just 3 elims shy of them, but rounding it out with 6 victory royales there. I mean, normally we would have called out the 159 as being the record for score, but Swilliam and FaZe were able to break that with the 162, and they were also 27 points clear. Like Quixo Medusa putting up 135. I mean, that would be typically a really, really good Saturday score, but they got dwarfed there. However, you can still see a lot of other familiar names, and honestly, it's surprising at this point when you don't see their names up there. Riddlefire and Moffin have been up there every single time. You have Hood J and Hard Carry, just a ton of these names coming out of Asia and continually able to put up a good show. Honestly, the question for me now is who are going to be the ones to get kind of those last few spots as they are coming out with only the singular solo spot and the singular duo spot left out of the region. It's going to be so close, and there are so many teams and consistent players who reasonably you could say, like, yeah, they have a shot at it. Like Faxbox and Benny haven't grabbed a duo spot yet. Swilliam and Faxy haven't gotten a spot on either side, but they've been consistently in the top 5, in the top 10, and been challenging in each one of these situations. So that's kind of the storyline for me out of these regions is like, well, yes, there isn't a qualifying spot up for grabs this week. It's going to paint the tail going into that week 10 for the duos, and even going into the week 9 of the solos, where these pairs are fighting for their very last opportunities to get to New York City. And that's what it's all about. After these 10 weeks, if you don't find yourself in New York City, that is gut-wrenching for so many of these players. They know they're the best of the best. They know they're capable of getting there, and being so close and not quite making it. The question is, who's going to clutch up and who's going to get one of those final spots?
I mean, we've already seen that in OCE, right? Jordan, twins right now, one half of the X2 twins made it through. His brother twin brother, in fact. Jesse has not, so we'll have to see how things shake out. But guys, I believe we're getting ready. I know you want to see some games. I want to see some games. So let's go ahead and call out some of our casters to kick things off. Let's get Bala TW and Golden Boy. Gentlemen, please take it away.
Going back into it. All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome. That's right, it is duos once again, and I'm very excited to be jumping into the action. European region never ceases to impress, and I'm expecting some top performances from our top players who have already qualified. That could play a role in those final standings.
Yeah, we see every single week that duos rolls around, Stompy and Shinken are at the top every single time. So let's get into the European action right now.
All right. So I'm excited because I always just enjoy starting that day off with Europe there. It's always fun to like see how these players kind of stack up against one another and who really thrives in these pressure situations. Always a reminder as well that we are jumping into all of the end games, so we're always going to be taking a look at usually Storm Phase 5 and then onward. But for now though, and also, I wonder if that burst SMG is going to play any kind of role today. I messed around with it. I didn't really find much of a use case for myself personally, but I wonder if some of our pro players have found good uses of it.
Yeah, I haven't seen too much use in their practice games that they played throughout the week towards the end game, but of course in the early game it is very strong still. I mean, you find it a lot, right? It's common, uncommon, and rare. So in that early game, when you pick it up, it's similar to like the uncommon pistol or anything like that, where hey, it'll shred through somebody with no shield. But beyond that, I mean, we do see some usages of trying to get people through the walls and such.
Yeah. It's just not, I think that what this does though is that it's going to make this weapon right here, the tactical AR, that much more valuable. If you do manage to snag that, because now all that light ammo that you probably would have ended up using for that suppressed SMG is going to be able to be used for this tactical assault rifle, right? Yeah. That's the plus of that weapon. The universal key, and that's going to be Darox pushing on in, taking out Morph. And Morphazes ends up going down. Darox gets the cleanup there onto Kenny along with his teammate Item. And that is going to be 2 eliminations there for them. 13 eliminations for Item. 16 eliminations for Darox. That is insane. Insanity.
That's, again, half in, half out. This is that 5th zone. We're moving into the 6th right now. 29 elims for them total. That's unbelievable. And that's exactly what they want on this semifinal day. Just make a good statement. Just make a strong statement as Darox and Item. This is actually a duo that's recently formed at the beginning of World Cup. They were playing with different partners. And Item was a player who went to ESL Katowice, did very well with himself there, with his partner Tomo. And then Darox, I believe they used to play together before. Split up for a little while, and now coming back strong, clearly.
Well, I think that's also a challenge that players would have to consider when you're, in a competition like this with so much on the line, to take that time and go away from your like duo that you've been working with, and then to kind of like recalibrate with another player. It's not easy, like there's always that honeymoon phase, as I call it, in team games, where everything's working, you're clicking, and it's perfect. But then when disaster strikes, that's where you see the true might of a duo and how they're going to be able to fight out of like really difficult situations. Kind of like the way that they're going to find themselves in right now. They don't have this high ground, so they want to try and force a way out. That heavy snipe is going to obliterate that wall, thus preventing that player from being able to build any further, but they still should be able to maintain the high ground, which is what's going on here. You're going to have Darox trying to push on up here and see if he can get in front, and then the high ground will be for Item and Darox as they do manage to take out Avon. That's yet another elimination on the board. 35 total for this duo. We're going to have 12 players remaining, 9 duos left in this game, Bala, and this is looking pretty solid for this duo.
Yeah, as the edit plays come in, they do get the high ground right back with that rift, so they just died from above and came right back below. They did find some materials up on a few of those eliminations earlier, so they're back in good shape here. They don't need to shambles kind of go for all these plays, but here the heavy snipe again, they both have it. They both have it, Golden Boy, and that's why they're able to just reload it, make these plays. They can get through a cone and a floor, both at the same time if they want to.
The aggression from this duo is absurd, but now you're going to have all these players scattered about down low. A few ballers are going to be in this one as well. with 5 duos remaining. We're coming down to the tail end of this, and Derux and Item with that high ground. They're going to look to apply a lot of pressure. And look at the way that Item drops down and gets aggressive, gets in their face, because he knows that he has Derux there for support if things are going to get a little dicey. And then looking up, you got a few players that are going to be hanging around in their gliders. Maybe they can pick them off from the sky. And these guys recognize that they cannot drop down simply because those traps are going to be the end of them there. But it's going to be the combat shoddy that connects. And now we're getting down to the final 4 here. And this is looking like a surefire win for this duo.
Yeah, here we go. D-Rock's looking for that last one. They do spot him. Where is he going to be? They still have that heavy snipe, and Item is right below him, so they can make a pinch here possible. With the patience, though, they're just going to start engaging and both going at the same time. I think that's a wrap. Both players on both sides chasing him through the storm, and that's it. D-Rocks and Item with the ridiculous elimination spree in this one with the Victory Royale as well. That's a good showing because there's not that many spots left, and they want to be
41.
I can't do the math, Golden Boy.
I'm pretty sure that was 41 eliminations. That was 41 freaking eliminations. That was absurd. Another duo, though, that's been so dominant has been Tachinkin and Stompy. They've already qualified, but each and every week
they do it again.
They keep doing it. It's not fair. 8 duos will go out of this region.
That's left. Those 8 spots total.
Oh, I'm sorry.
In the last 2 weeks.
Yes. Yeah. So 4 spots. Okay.
This is
hilarious. He almost did the play there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it.
Indeed, he just walked right into a box with a trap and said, hey, I'm fine. I'll just stay on the edge. I've done my scissors elimination runs.
Shout out to Scissors for those gods here at Elim runs that have entertained all of us. And look at this again. So 20 eliminations now. Tachinkin gets the confirmation on the Elim there against Chief. Another player trying to hold off inside of that wood box up ahead. They have the kit to just get hyper aggressive, push in when they need to, and not allow anyone any moments to breathe.
And the environmental aspect to it too. There's not that many players left in this. It's only the half in, half out. It's about to move into that first moving zone. That full moving zone. They could just keep going because there's not many players to say, hey, I want to shoot at you, because look how many players are up on the hill. And the players that are up on the hill right now, not the players that are down below, they're not going to be able to pressure. Again, it's the same formula.
Oh my!
Every single time. Stompy goes to one side, Shinkin on the other, and there's no chance for these players to hold on to their
literally a playground.
boxes.
It's a playground. That's exactly what's happening. Like they are just doing whatever they want to do. There is no one that can stop them. Like every single time, look at that, just desperation. You got to do something.
I mean, how many rifts have they forced at this point? That's 4, 5 maybe?
Kathigo couldn't even glide down. They had no choice. He was just picked in the sky. This is ridiculous, Bala.
Hey, that's what happens when you're the best in the world at what you do. You literally, just take out everybody, you get the kit that you want, and then from there it's just, hey, you guys have nothing on me. I have all the confidence in the world. I'm just going to push you.
And you know what? I felt like Mitro and Mongrel at one point in time, yes, everyone could argue, and they are, without a doubt, like a top-tier duo. But what we're seeing from Tachinkin and Stompy, and it doesn't just happen on Saturdays.
No.
It's happening on Sundays. Against the best players as well. It's scary. If you are a duo going to New York, you should be scared because Tachinkin and Stompy have your number. They don't even know who it is. I don't think they care.
No, they don't. And some people are even like questioning, are they even taking this serious at this point? These online open games, are they even trying? I mean, it looks like it, but to be fair, like, they do this every time without, like, it feels like it's just there's no thought or anything.
And they split up, and it doesn't matter because they're going to be able to support one another. Stompy, he barely has any HP remaining. He's going to have what, like 112 effective HP, and then you're just going to have Butters, who knows that Butters is in just a world of hurt here. And there you go, the victory royale. That was just domination. I've never seen a situation in my years commentating a variety of different games where players just dominated like effortlessly like that. Well, that was silly. That was just silly.
Item and Dirox, and then Stompy and Shinken doing it.
Both of them. Yeah. Dirox and Item were also very scary, but the thing was there was still like
some moments.
It was like there was a moment of cautious, gameplay, I would say, from Item and Dirox, right? They held high ground. They didn't try and split up all that much. Tachinkin and Stompy literally just went wherever they wanted to go to, and it did not matter. Oh, that guy just got, that's a rough. Oh, picked him in the sky? Okay, Driller. Okay, Driller. It's coming down there, Papa, all right?
Still looking for shots, too. They're in a position that doesn't really tend to find those shots down really, really low. We'll see. Moving on now over towards the other side. Looks like we're going to be hopping over to Doma and Marconix here on high ground. This is what I'm talking about, a position that's actually going to be able to find you those shots. But, hey, there's a tree in the way. Ooh, what happened there? I think maybe on a vent. Was knocked already.
That worked out for them. Just remember, folks, as we are now in the top 15, each elimination will be worth 3 points. When you get to 10th place, you get an additional 2, making it 5. Then 5th place, same thing, another 2, making it 7. And then only one player can get the victory royale, obviously, one duo pair, and that will lead to 10 points. Each elimination is going to count for a point. So as it currently stands right now in this game, you're going to have 5 points, 6 points for Doma and Marconix. I'm saying that right?
Marconix.
Marconix.
Something like that.
Marconix.
Right, and you can tell there's not that Stompy and Shinken present, that Item and Dirox presence, because we do have a lot of players still. Hey, I'm just playing my game. You can see Smeef and Tomo in the background as well, in their box, looking for shots, looking for gatekeeps, but they're not pressuring anybody right in their face. They're letting the game come to them.
I would say this is also quite a nice area to be positioned in because you're going to have the use of that geyser. So in case things get a little dicey, you're going to need a rotation. You can save out on the Rift to Go and take advantage of the geyser, but they're going to use the jump pad instead. So they're going to go right up to the sky after getting themselves an elimination earlier on against Dynamo. It's going to be 2 eliminations for this duo, still in the top 15 of duos remaining.
And using that launch pad there from high ground makes them be able to glide a lot longer without getting shot, because as you get high enough, you're not necessarily going to be close to everybody else. So that's a possibility why they opted for that rather than the vent. But pressure coming in on this box, you can always see every single time that Doma is pressuring one side, Marconix, even when they're pressuring the same wall, he's still taking the stairs. Doma's firing, Marconix replaces the stairs. That's the cue for Doma to stop firing. I'm going to just make the edit play and force this player all the way down. They're going to take him out.
Yeah, and this high ground coverage that they have, it's like waiting for players to rotate. There's just too many layers beneath them, so they're not able to get that full benefit from catching the stragglers pushing into the zone. But they have a bunch of builds to work with as well. So Marconix and Doma have a decent position here. They're protecting their high ground. They know that there are going to be some ballers that are hanging out too. You just see Nikov as well as Von Kahn and Roxo are going to be taken off off screen there. Some players down low. Tak trying to take advantage of that fast fire rate there. Kaizen is out of this. And now we're going to be with 11 duos remaining, so close to getting into that top 10. Player right in front of him, KCV, will not be long for this server. And then the Rift to Go drags everyone up to the top.
The value that they got of that box, that tunnel where they went way ahead and then they shot from that box for at least a good 20 seconds. They got 2 eliminations out of it and a bunch of damage on the rest of the server. Now they're going to land on high ground. It's a fight against Maxim and the V. And I think they're going to win that. Yeah, Maxim says, I'm done. I'm out. We got to go low. We got to look for eliminations because I'm out of materials.
Yeah, 4 builds remaining for Maxim. You know, according to what I'm seeing here, no, you're not.
He's hoping.
Yeah, that's ambitious to say the least. You just want to pick up your buddy's builds at that point and just try and do your best to be able to win this game. That's all you got. There's going to be someone, actually 2 players popped up. That's going to be Kaiusis who gets picked. And then Maxim finds another one onto Mistake. And that has to smart there, because Maxim just stumbled upon those players and was granted some more builds to keep this one going. Now we're going to be in the top 3 here for the duos, and the Valiant's crew, they're going to hold this one down. Smeef is going to be eliminated, and now it's going to be up to Maxim, and Maxim just has a prayer here. But maybe that prayer is going to come in the form of Splodes, but Maxim gets chunked down. Doma's going to dive in. Victory Royale for Markinix and Doma. Very well done.
And it all comes back down to that moment when they landed back on high ground after they gave up that position in that box. They used the Rift to Go and they landed on high ground. From there, it was just cleaning up the individual players. You saw Smeef challenging for it a little bit. That was his only hope, to try to take that one. Now on to the next game. I already see D-Rocks in the background, so we know they're having a good one. As they're moving on through, we already saw them get the 41 elimination game.
41. If they're not at the top 10, I would be shocked. A 41 elimination game, that's 41 points. Plus the Victory Royale, that's 51 points that they got. That's like what most regions would get in a session.
That is true.
Right? Like we've
especially
seen
in the finals, yeah.
Yeah, like those like Sunday numbers, obviously, but that's
in solo. Like put in perspective, in solos, that is a qualifying.
Yes,
that is a qualifying score for all 10 games, all 3 hours. And duos just a little higher, though. Yes,
that's just silliness.
It's ridiculous. Now, into this game, we're already in that top 15, so those placement points did come through. Ooh, Toffel with the hunting rifle almost getting that, but it's not usually a weapon that you see people carrying this late in the game, and they're actually going to be able to use the community launch pad too. Finding players on the side of zone, moving in just at the right time. Oh. A little bit of a scuffle.
Well, you know, we didn't catch that, man. It's all right. We'll edit that out.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Chat, you didn't see it.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Veggies goes down right in front of Toffel's perspective, and then Toffel just needs to get out of there. So a Lazy Lagoon fight for that half-in, half-out circle. You're going to have the water that will not really play that much of a role here because players will more than likely be built over that, but a lot of natural structures here, as you can see, buildings, rocks as well, like hills, very, very steep cliff structures that are annoying at times to play around if you're not careful. But here's D-Rocks, and he actually lost item earlier on, so this is not quite the game that we saw earlier from this duo, sitting at 71 points total right now.
On the backs of that crazy game we saw earlier.
Hey, I'll take that.
Hey, this could be like their second or third game still. Like
that was a little loot, you know, a little care package there in the form of that player who got eliminated. Brings him up now to 113 builds.
Speaking of care packages.
Yeah, and a care. Hey, no, why not, man? I'll take all this stuff.
Supply drop in there, and he's gonna get an RPG there for, and no, the Rift to Go. He's gonna use it to pick up something else. But that RPG is gonna be strong in the late game. You never know, especially around these areas where there's plenty of hills that go up and down.
Oh, Derox is getting tagged up as he was gliding down. Now gonna have to be forced. Only 2 minis remaining, so you gotta be a little, you know, conservative with your minis here. You do not want to just use them out willy-nilly, but hopefully this player will have enough to be able to take from. No minis on that player either. So smoke bombs for the rotations, though, at least.
The shadow bombs there. He got a couple extra. That's going to be very useful for him to just continue racking up those placements. Just go into zone, start gatekeeping a little bit, but just take your time, right? You have 6 of them. You can get all the way towards those top 5 situations with 6 smokes. looking back. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about, the gatekeeping aspect. When you have those shadow bombs, you go all the way forward in the zone, pick a spot, just box up and start looking back. That's how you net yourself those eliminations. A lot of players now looking for possibly the high ground. Script flying. We saw Tux and Vorwin as well. What is going to happen? This is going to decide a lot right here, but it's all getting knocked down.
Whew. Man, I tell you, in those moments, you know, like the quick thinking, you got to pop that shadow bomb so that you're. Oh, let's just go ahead and talk about what we're seeing over here. And Script is insane. What a series of eliminations there. Script popped the shadow bomb, kept himself going after losing the high ground because the high ground was destroyed, and then followed it up with another 2 eliminations in that CQC scenario. Very close, but very well done. Now you got Tux and Vorwin on your screen. Vorwin, who found a player down low but was not able to connect with that purple combat shoddy. And another one up in the high ground here. Take a second to reload. Explodes. Punish that player, knock him down, but he's going to be able to catch himself there. And then that's Razny.
Script's partner from earlier that we saw. So it looks like Script is going to be on his own. Clutched up when getting split earlier. No, I don't see him on that overview at all.
Scripted.
Oh yeah, all the way on high ground too, but they're gonna get knocked down right now. Vorwin and Tux are bringing the heat towards him. So he was trying to get that campfire in, but he's gonna hold for now, and Vorwin's all the way down to 6 HP, so Script holding tight against Vorwin and Tux. He's actually forced Tux to go all the way down. Vorwin trying to get a little bit of healing going with that campfire. Script taking the time as well.
Living up to the name. I gotta give this guy credit because you're by yourself going up against 2 phenomenal players, and then you end up just still holding your own. Script is gonna maintain that higher position. You know, he's gonna be above, level above most of the players there. Vorwin actually reestablishes himself, and Script needs to get into the safe zone. Lost a bunch of HP because of that. Gets into the fight there against Clapper, but will finally be eliminated there by Nadarez. Now it's gonna be Vorwin having to deal with this duo. Can Vorwin do it? He's gonna down him, but Clapper will get the better and secure the victory royale for him and his duo. Not to Rez. What a game.
That was an incredible sequence of events. That's exactly what you want to do when you're in a 1v2 situation. But with that, we're going to throw it back over to the studio. Zeke, how was that game?
Listen, Bala, these games are always unbelievable. Some clutch ones, some big, especially right out the gate Sundown, like those first few games with those high eliminations, you'll love to see it. But of course, now we're going to spend time with Sundown. Let's talk about the rundown you've got for us, because I know you've pulled some incredible clips to show us. What have you got?
Yeah, so first we're going to take a look with, honestly, my favorites going into the Fortnite World Cup final in terms of the duo competition, Stompy and Tashinkin. I know we saw kind of Courage call out saying Dubs is definitively the best solo player right now. I'd say Stompy might be able to challenge him, but definitively him and Tashinkin have been running the duos level of the competition. You see them picking up 2 quick elims there. And the one thing that is nice, considering they have already qualified, they're playing without that stress on the shoulder. They do get to play a little more carefree. They do get to be aggressive and go impress and see how hard they can really push that envelope. And one thing that Bala called out here that was huge is they're forcing so many of these players to attempt to use their utility early. They forced 4 different rifts by just going aggressive. And on top of that, from denying the utility away from them, they're also able to gain control of the high ground and then just run it top down. The one thing to note about these two is they're not always directly next to each other, but they have lines of sight for the other. They're always ready to support and be in a position, and they lock that one down and take the victory royale there. Brilliantly done. Brilliantly done. And another group of teammates who were able to close one out was Marconix and his teammate Doma. They were able to control this high ground here, as Bala was pointing out, getting so much damage done from this box. It just
catching people on this rotation. Shots raining down from the sky and then closing down in this box here. And this is one of those key moments, because when they're able to drop down, get all this utility and then get out of dodge after they clean this up is huge.
ice. And solos. So they're a force to be reckoned with. Now onto Oler, who's by himself with 0 eliminations. And, you know, I'm looking at his HP. We obviously can't see the rest of his inventory, but it's always...
Oh, hey, that's nice.
Hey, the Siphon comes in too, so heals him a little bit. I was going to say, his HP situation is already painting the picture for me.
Yeah. Struggle City population 1, boss. Just Oler. That's it.
Well, can he find anything else? That's the question right now. There's 2 players fighting nearby.
Might be able to just jump in and try and third party on this fight.
I think he's standing right on top of his cone. I think both those, that roof piece is his, but he's actually going to find Zaided. Trying to make his escape, and yeah, there it is, the cone coming in.
Oh no!
This player doesn't realize. Oler, can you close it out? Yes. Where's your teammate, Rui? What's going on here? I'm a little confused.
Yeah, because that was a down. That was not an instant elimination like the other player that he took out earlier. So that could be Sheer. That might have been Sheer, who's above him.
But why aren't they right? If they're that close, oh, okay, he has 2 players that he has to fend for himself with. I don't know.
But then at that point, why did that player chase an elimination low? He should have stuck with his teammate. You know, you got to make the audible at that point. Things in Fortnite are not going to go your way all the time, right? Most of the time, actually, they will not go your way. So you got to be able to be quick on those audibles and make those changes on the fly when necessary.
Definitely have to. These decisions, they don't come down to split seconds. They come down to split milliseconds if you really think about it, especially as these end games get so condensed. And now Patek and Dementos landing right on top of Siba. Gonna take him out. Him and his teammate Kluja. I did see the instant elimination, so I don't think there is any more teammates to be found. Dementos.
And this has been another consistent duo as well. I've seen them in the top quite a bit, maybe not always looking in that top 10, but whenever you see them, they're usually in a strong position.
Usually, and again, they are here. I did see Sheer get knocked by Dementos, so that wasn't the duo that we were talking. He wasn't the partner of that player who was sitting on top of the cone, but now on high ground, Dementos is actually going to find that one flying through the air, but Patek and Dementos just doing their best to, you know, just take out everybody who decides to fly. And at this point, hey, if I'm a player, that's Flexi who goes down. If I'm a player in this game and there's one team on high ground doing all the shots, you can see Dementos even taking the L on his counterpart, Flexi there, who went down. Literally, I don't want to glide anymore. I'm just saying, hey, you guys can have high ground. I'm gonna fight on low ground. I'm gonna look for opportunities to take you out. But you guys are just taking everybody out the sky right now. Somebody is contesting them, though.
Well, I don't know if you noticed it, but Pytek actually had 0 builds, and Dementos has 2. So high ground is all well and good until you run out of the resources to be able to push this further here. And Dementos trying to force his way in with that blue drum gun, but gets Aryun outside. Another one's going to appear right in front, and not going to matter because Dementos will get the 8th elimination. Then Pytek's actually going to go down and engage in a fight there against Cybear. That's going to leave Mayhem and Oler by themselves. Oler has basically nothing left to work with, and because of that, will be easy pickings. And now we're going to be dealing with a 2v1. Could Mayhem be the hero here for his duo to get that victory royale? I don't know if Mayhem has any builds left. It does not appear that way. Otherwise, Mayhem would have tarped this off already, and I think that perhaps these players recognize that, so they dive right into that fight, and they're able to get the victory royale. That was I would say that was a very well put together game there. It's 17 eliminations, 10 points gained from the victory royale, a 27-point total game there for that duo. What you want at the end here on Saturday.
And that was another clean 2v1. They took their time. You saw Dementos was getting a little hasty. He wanted to go down, but his teammate needed to heal up. He just waited for him to take those small shield potions and then move forward and take them from both sides. Now on to Multi and Benji into the next game. Another lucky landing area. It's just funny, we're seeing back-to-back games that end in this kind of same little area, but regardless. Nice little pick there on Proxima, who's right on the edge of zone. They're going to look back and find that one. So he was trying to make the rotate with the player next to him who did not want to let him.
Let's see here as the movement starts and the shots start to come in. Benji is going to feel that one, has to slow down for a moment. And Multi and Benji will simply just have to hold hands here, get Benji an elimination or two, and maybe get the siphons off of this. But Multi also is going to be tagged up a little bit. And Benji also takes a lot of damage. You can see it there at the bottom left of your screen on that rotation. Benji ended up getting tapped big time.
Does have 3 of those shield potions. He's going to be able to heal right back up to 100 shield, but his HP situation is dire, and that becomes a very tough thing to deal with in these end games. He's got to get a siphon. If he has no medkit, no bandages, no campfire, because the zone does only health damage. So, and any sort of fall damage as well stinks. You can get taken out. Even if you have, 110 effective HP, you can get taken out quickly.
Yeah, and you know that they don't have any campfires because they would have popped it at this point. So, health-wise, you got a bunch of shields, but you don't have the green bar all filled up. That is going to be your health. And we got 17 players remaining, 30.
Have another launch pad.
Well, I should say 30 players in this lobby, 17 duos still fighting here. Top 15 will get you that first placement threshold.
They're getting ready for the other launch pad. That's why they broke that floor, and they're going to edit out that pyramid and go forward. I like placing the launch pads inside of the boxes. That gives you the opportunity to just kind of surprise, hey, here's a launch pad, I'm out. And not really, risk yourself at all to jump outside of your box. Moving forward, a lot of players deciding and opting to use those launch pads. You see Flick and his teammate in the background looking for shots on these players, though. MCES guys, Xweeze and Nail, finding a position right outside his zone. They're going to want to turtle forward and start gatekeeping.
You want to wait for those players to push, and then reap the benefits of it, kind of like what we're seeing right here. And Xweeze, man, he gets 75 blue, and then the cleanup with the legendary tacked AR is going to snag that knock.
That was great recognition to realize that that player is going to try to go down a layer and pre-firing it before it even happened. Now, they found their way in zone. Where's the next one going to be? It does not favor them entirely.
Ooh, and someone jumps into the box as well. A little ambitious of a play there.
Was that Mitro? That was Mitro.
Oh, well, now I understand why it was an ambitious play, because it was Mitro. Mongrel still going to be left in the action, though. I'm sure we'll see him in a little bit. You're going to have Zone, who manages to run into another player there. That's Multi, we saw earlier on. Multi will not be able to stay up long in this one, and Saki is out of the fight. Now that's just going to leave Zone by himself.
Here, he's looking for it. Finds a player down below. He knew he was down there. That's Phoenix who goes out. And that's going to be great, but he's got to get the elimination. You see, he's still stuck in zone. That's a lot of damage going to be going down on him. And a little story here that I'm seeing develop, Kuna and Mongrel, both, Kuna is Mitro's former duo here. They're both playing solo right now. We'll see if they'll clutch up and end up in one of those situations where it's like, hey.
Run into, I was going to say star-crossed lovers. Just,
exactly.
He's with me now. This is too much. Oh, man. The chat's probably just throwing all the lulls and resident sleepers possible.
Yes, absolutely. Keep them coming.
Keep them coming, baby. I'll keep bringing it.
Here's Kuna picking up one onto Farron's Sweezy.
Oh, Mongrel.
Oh, it's Mongrel, so it's going to put an end to that. And they're going to go into the next game, but Sweezy and his teammate Nail, they're going to pick up the spoils for Mongrel, and it's going to be good because he does not go into the end game without a few eliminations.
No, he does not. Going to get a bunch of value. And this is interesting. Drops the tactical AR, and I don't think he's going to be reusing that infantry rifle all that much, but maybe you could use those splodes. Yeah, even if it's one. Oh, he's going to block himself out of this one. He owns that wall to the side as well. Nice. He's going to push out. That was
good escape.
Yeah, thin escape there, right? Narrow. You were not going to be able to get out of that one in other situations. So good reaction time there from Xweeze. And then Legendary gets met there with a shot from the combat shotty, and this is looking great. But Knifer, as a matter of fact, gets the better. And that is going to leave it with 2 duos remaining. So Xweeze now in a 1v2. Senzi's players down. And then you're going to have
Naranjito.
Naranjito, we're going to have a one-on-one, a good old-fashioned 1v1 to end this game. Life lead will be for Exuiz, but the high ground for Naranjito. Still in this one. Naranjito's going to go for it, but he's going to drag him in. Oh, and he went for the shot up above. That was ambitious there. Could have really paid for that one. You saw that when he hit that rift to go, you're able to shoot your shotty for just a split second if you do the right thing. We saw that pop up on the Fortnite competitive Reddit, but Naranjito jumps into the box and takes out Exuiz. He was feeling the brunt of the damage from that rift to go shot in the sky, and I tell you, that is a little skill thing that exists right now in competitive Fortnite that players are taking advantage of. You may want to think twice before you take someone with you in a rift to go.
Yeah, you do have to have very quick reactions to pull it off. And
yeah, it's like split second.
Just for reference, what you do is you end up reloading your shotgun right as you're getting into the rift, and you can take one shotgun shot. So you've got to be careful. It's a perilous time right now if you are taking players in rifts with you.
But the thing is, you got to be careful
because they can do it right back.
But that player also needs to. Your window is very narrow to hit that shot.
But, the rift to go usage in that final situation is Zayt and Saf kind of popularized it at ESL Katowice, because before that shot type of timing even existed or was discovered, they were still using it, right? You could go down, rift somebody, and force them to take zone damage, or force them to reposition where you're going to be able to dive down first because you know what's happening. But here, Issa taking out takeoffs, getting a little bit of a third-party action coming in from the side. He's going to take out Karma as well and just rotate right back to his box, and finds a rift to go for himself as well.
Bear in mind, Issa by himself though.
Yeah, Camo's down already. Issa, but we know he can do it because he's qualified in solos. One of the few controller players who's done it. And, yesterday he had a great performance as well in one of the tournaments that just happened. Huge different format, but amazing player. Probably, in my opinion, one of the best controller players in the world.
Yeah, I would actually agree with that statement. I mean, when you think about, the top controller players, very few stand out, above the pack, and he's always up there.
Yes.
He's always up there. It's in looking at his gameplay, you sometimes can't even tell with how fast he's moving.
Oh, you can tell.
I mean,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Relative to other controller players,
no, he's smooth. He is so it's actually a wonder to watch. I love watching Issa play because I'm just like, wow, the things you can do.
With your thumbs.
With your thumbs. It's insane. It's absolutely mind-boggling. I can't comprehend it, Golden Boy.
I can because
I know you can.
Because controllers are the best. I'm only switching to a keyboard and mouse just so that, I can feel cool and everyone doesn't make fun of me in the green room anymore. That's it. Mostly Dr. Lupo.
I would never make fun of you, Golden.
Thanks, bud.
That bully Dr. Lupo.
How dare he? He's probably watching right now. He's like, what? I've never made fun of him. Oh, we got Vato and Skite in this game as well as Doma.
And Kinstar and Hunter as well.
Kinstar, okay.
So that French-speaking community coming out, possibly come to a head here. I'd love to see a 2v2 end up with them because that would be seriously interesting.
Also, want to give a huge shout out to the Solary team for covering the Solary players. All the commentaries
in the Lastream team.
Huh?
They do the same thing, Lastream as well.
Yeah, Lastream, yes, of course, because the Lastream, they're one of the first ones. So just want to give those guys a shout out for doing that. If you want to catch some French commentary and also watch a perspective of these guys, which you honestly should because they're so unbelievably talented, you can go and check them out. I believe they're live right now.
Yes,
covering 100%. All the games.
And it's an interesting story too because Hunter and Kinstar, I mean, we talk about storybook endings in the duos competition last week as Scout picks up one. Both Skyt and Vato, Hunter and Kinstar, and Airwax and Nikov were all going at it to try to qualify. Both of the Solar teams did, but the Lestream team just barely didn't make it. Zestin takes out Issa, so he's out of this game for now. So we'll see. Hey, if this goes into one of those 2v2 situations, it's like, hey, who's the best in the French community?
And I've always had a blast going to France and covering various events out there. The French esports community is so fun, and they're so passionate and engaged. It's honestly the best. So shout out to you guys out there. But back to the action we go, though. As we're now going to be inside of the top 10, top 8 duos remaining here. 15 players left in this one. You got Oblivion with 1 elimination and Nymok with 2 eliminations, but Oblivion gets tagged up down to 14 HP, but manages to get the follow-up there onto Skyt from Lestream. That is unfortunate. Another one going to be outside of the storm as well. Then Oblivion sees that player dancing around him and instead recognizes that he needs to get back to a safe spot here. And then you have Diner on your screen now. 2 eliminations. We're going to be in the top 5, Balla.
Yeah, and just briefly there, we did see in the elimination feed as Diner picks up 1 more, but Hunter actually took out Vato right at the same time as Skyt went down, so that engagement did end up happening. But now Diner picking up Doma on the back foot, who's trying to make his way up that hill, and we actually saw this exact kind of zone right next to this mountain in Paradise earlier. We talk about those mountain runs that players have to make. You have to be careful. Every time you're going up or down or whatever, there could be players coming in from unsuspecting locations.
The benefit, though, is that the safe zone is going to be on that neutral plane, so you don't need to deal with that mountain. Diner gets tagged on the low ground down to 22 shields there. Needs to reset for a moment to be able to pop those minis and recognizes a player right in front of him, so he shoots him down, but he wasn't able to tear through the metal quickly enough. But he does get the 36 blue for the tag there, and still holding down in this mid-ground. Players just huffing and puffing up above him. He's going to drop down right onto Oblivion and is going to follow up with the elimination. Another one's going to go in there for the fight, and Oblivion, or I should say Diner, will not be able to stay alive, but Nymok with the shadow bomb gets in front of them. Is he going to be in a position where he can actually benefit from this one? No. He goes further down, and now this is when this hill is going to play a role here. Nymok, though, does have the builds, does have the shadow bomb, but it ain't going to matter because Zestin and Scout get the victory royale.
Beautiful play there. As soon as they realize the situation, I'm up on high ground. I can let this player shadow bomb as much as I want. That's going to be the end of that one. And so we're going to check back in with Zeke in the studio.
Guys, these games are unbelievable. To start the day like this, I mean, Sundown, you know we love Fortnite. You know what else I love? My boy, Rexy. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for joining us. Of course, we are here at Fortnite World Cup Online Open, week number 8. I'm Zeke. That's Sundown. We just got through some of the coverage here to start the day off, and now I believe you have some incredible clips lined up for us to take a look at.
Yeah, we're going to pop into some of the gameplay that did just happen. First, we're going to take a look here at Paytech using the smoke bomb to get up and around behind Siva and then take advantage of him with that combat shotgun. Now here, you can see still trying to use the combat from the high ground, but instead swaps over to the AR. But I mean, Paytech is such a good player. We've seen him in all of the skirmishes. Was at Secret Skirmish as well, had a great performance there. And then the Latvian Dementos putting another astounding pressure around, and you can see how they work together as they work top down. And again, not exactly necessarily the same as Stonky and Tashinkin, but they're close enough to be able to pincer, and that's what they look to do as they work top down. And a brilliant job to also close this one out and get the victory royale there. Just well done done from Paytech and Dementos. Now we're gonna hop on board here with X-Sweeze from MCES, and he does a great job putting pressure from inside the box. And one thing you'll note is how they're constantly checking angles towards the backside of the storm. When you're on the mid tarp, you want to look back and down. Sometimes over is, or like up and over can be good, but back and down is where you're going to find the most opportunities, where you'll find the players who are being pinched by that storm, being forced to walk back. And you can see him picking up a number of great eliminations right there. Let's check the standings and see where we're kind of falling out towards the end of the matches. As you can note, kind of games remaining on here. So Stompy and Tashinket, one left. Paytech and Dementos, they're going to be done. You also have Windstrike Mayhem and Gambit Azzy at one match. Otherwise, everyone in between 5 and 3. So still some games to be played, but as we get into the end of the window, look to see some of these guys with 5 and 4 matches to play a little aggressive. But again, don't forget, this is Saturday. This is the semifinals. The top 1,500 duos will be advancing. Everybody you see here, they'll be there comfortably.
There you go. Well, guys, I believe that is it for now, all right? So what we're going to do, what you need to do now is get up, stand up, stretch your legs, go to get a snack, because when we come back, we'll have more Fortnite action. So we'll see you guys after this break.
What's up, Fortnite fam? Sundown here, and today we are going to talk about shadow bombs and their impact on competitive play. If you haven't had a chance to use the shadow bomb yet, it is a utility consumable that drops in stacks of 2, and you can carry up to 6 per slot. When used, the shadow bomb grants the user invisibility, move speed, the ability to double jump, and the ability to wall jump. Shadow form lasts for 6 seconds, but will remain active after that window until the user touches their feet on the ground. We've seen shadow bombs already have a huge impact on some of the Fortnite World Cup online open qualifiers.
Can he hit it? Oh my gosh! He hits it! You freaking legend! Are you kidding me?
Now, let's hear what some of the players who have already qualified for the Fortnite World Cup final think of the addition of shadow bombs to competitive play.
I think with Season 9, the shadow bombs are a perfect mobility that has its downsides and upsides if you use it right.
I mean, I think shadow bombs are very balanced right now. They're a really good way of getting mobility considering they're an uncommon item.
I feel like they're a really good addition to the game. It's as good as a Rift to Go, maybe even better in my opinion. You can get your position wherever you want to, especially end zone. People don't expect it.
A little bit of HP left. You're gonna pull it.
It's a must carry. You know, when that zone pops and you're super far, you can pop a shadow bomb and just get to the next zone. It's great. I love them.
Shadow bombs are amazing. Like, I reckon that's like one of the best things they've brought out so far, because you could just sneak into someone's box or like get high ground or like go low ground without taking damage.
There's moments where people clutch up, like very end game, like they might not have mats, and the Mr. Savage play where there's a hill and you went up it with the shadow bomb, it was just crazy.
They've got to go up the side of a mountain, and it's shadow bomb time. He's deciding to take storm damage. Yes. Mr. Savage! Oh my God! Oh my goodness!
What a play! Are
the best shadow bomb use I've ever seen! Mr. Savage M rising to the top of the mountain.
Thanks for watching, and hopefully you learned a thing or two. What's the best way you've used a Shadow Bomb? Send us clips using the hashtag Fortnite World Cup, and we'll see you guys on the battle bus. Or maybe not, if you're in shadow form.
Yo, 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 what up, Fortnite fam? DJ Zeke in the building. Hold on, I'm getting a phone call. Yo, yo, what's up, dude? It's DJ Zeke. Yeah, man, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't know about the block party? Everyone knows about the block party. What do you... No, dude, it's a 2-day event, June 15th and 16th. The ticket's only $35. You gotta be there. What do you mean who's gonna be there? There's gonna be a ton of people there. You got Cloaksy, Pokimane, Valkyrae, Dr. Lupo, Loserfruit, Kurt JD, Brendan, Yuri, Martin Starr, Samara Redway, Marisha Ray, Tfue, Fear Itself. Everyone's gonna be there. Dog, it's a 2-day event. No, look, the first day is the creative showdown. Team Evolve built this dope game mode for all the fans to watch. The pro-am, yes, but that's day 2. Day 2 is the celebrity pro-am. They're battling out for a $3 million charity prize pool, dude. Yes. Are the fans gonna be there? Are you guys gonna be there? Yeah, no, they say they're gonna be there. Of course, listen, everyone's gonna be at the block party. Let's go, we'll go together. All right, okay, DJ Sundown. All right, I'll see you there. Sorry about that, Fortnite fam. Listen, block party, it's gonna be lit. Tickets are $35. You need to buy them because I cannot wait to party with you. Now, Fortnite fam, that's it for me, so DJ Zeke, out.
Everyone, what's going on, and welcome back to the Fortnite World Cup. We just wrapped up our first block of EU action, and it was a pretty good one. I'm Golden Boy, one of your hosts, and we're going to jump right in to the next few games. So we're going to need some casters for that. Let's bring them out. You're going to have Kitty and Pooks. I'll let you ladies take it from here.
Girl, come on in, come on in. I am so excited to be casting these games today. We are back. This is my very first weekend of casting duos too, so we get to talk all about that work together that these guys are going to be doing, and girls, hopefully see some great action today.
Definitely. It's my first week doing duos as well, so let's hop into the games. Let's see what these guys are doing.
Woo! Yes, I have been so excited to finally get to cast these duos, and oh my gosh, do we have some of the most amazing players today coming out from EU. Pookie, who are your favorites?
Out of EU, I mean, you know, I feel as though we've already seen so many great duos qualify. There's been so many people that have been so consistent across the board, but Stompy and Shinken, you gotta talk about them. Those guys are absolutely incredible. And, you know, I was talking to Zeke about it a little bit earlier today, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna call it right now. I want this to be on the broadcast. You know what? I think they take World Cup.
You think they take World Cup?
I think they take World Cup.
You heard it here first, people. Someone clip that.
Clip
it. If it doesn't come true, she will do 100 push-ups on World Cup.
We'll start with 10. We'll start with 10. Start small.
Start training.
Aim low, achieve much. But here we see Donald and his partner stand her up. They do take out Pawsy. Sucks, LOL. With the heavy sniper up there on the ultimate high ground. So, you know, 3 eliminations for him, 1 for his teammate. It looks like they're in a good spot right now, just on the edge of Polar Peak.
Yeah, something to clue everyone in on here. If you guys are new to Fortnite, this area in particular is one of the most difficult in these final zones. If you look at this ice, how it kind of leans in towards us, you are not able to build down this hill if you're needing to descend. And when you're going up, you can easily get stuck underneath these cliffs. So you really need to be aware where the zone is moving and make those decisions early, so you don't get caught out. But now we got Stompy here. He's got a nice position. He's right here in the center. He's got a good view below him. Lots of action going there, and it looks like they will need to go northeast now with that new zone popping up on that mini map in the bottom right-hand corner of this screen. And I like this loadout for him. I like that he has those shadow bombs, and he's going to be able to utilize that on a rotation. And this positioning right now is absolutely perfect.
Right, and like you said, rotations in this part of the map are so key, and you have to make them so early. Stompy just raining shots down on the players below him. He does have ultimate high ground on them down there in that valley right now, but the zone is going to be moving towards him and then behind him. So these players are all going to have to rotate over to him. Let's see if he stays a little bit longer to see if he can get some damage or even some possible eliminations here.
Ooh, getting 3 really clean tags. He smells blood. He knows he's one shot, dropping down, taking out Loot Boy Mexi, and picking up that 6th elimination now. Right away, you see him pop that shadow bomb and making his rotation, and not having his teammate with this isn't the best, but if there's anyone that can pull it off, it's definitely Stompy.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, you know, just like clockwork, waits to get those eliminations and then moves forward towards the zone. Everybody kind of gliding in here now, taking up a lot of real estate here, right on the edge of this small little hill we have going on here. We have Sander up.
Oh, wow,
now just looking up, good loadout. 10 grenades. Bring on the explodes, kitty.
Oh,
Give me the
you know how I love explodes. Well, it doesn't need explode to pick up that elimination there. Doubling now, he's sitting on 2 and making a move with his teammate now, using that jump pad. A few ballers still in play and deciding to go back for this mid ground. Maybe looking to take high. Does look like he is headed up there. And his teammate already has secured the high ground. So these guys are in a great position now moving into this late game. And once this zone closes, we've talked about this with Dynamite, but it's similar with this explode. You're going to be able to drop those explodes down onto your opponents, and their radius of damage is going to be equal to the size of the zone. So picking up these late eliminations is great for them when they have that utility.
Yeah, definitely. And he has a ton of them, like you said. And you know what? The longer you hold on to these grenades, the longer you hold on to these explosives, the better they become, because, you know, the circle gets smaller, the radius gets tighter. These guys have nowhere to go. You have to just hope that you have the materials to be able to... Oh my goodness, let's take a look here and see what he's about to do. He does get a tag on 50 with the tactical shotgun there for 55. It's not going to be enough there on Dougie, but he does get another shot taken. Dougie is going to campfire right at the edge of the zone, though. He is going to have to move. Sander up just really playing this edge of the zone very well, but does get tagged.
Yeah, that player does go for the edit, gets a shot on him. He needs, he dropped down a campfire, does get a little bit of health back. He has that big pot if he's able to find opportunity to pop it. Doesn't, unfortunately, get it. His teammate is still alive, does drop down from that ultimate high ground. You see him here in the right corner of your screen. Doogie and Magnet following close together, and Demils has access to that, the stink grenade, getting really great tags on both of those players. He does have 4 more of those left, taking time now to take these mini pots and raining him down. The nice thing about these is they do provide tracking, so he's able to see exactly where the opponents are. Does get that pickup onto Doogie, avenging his teammate.
Avenging his teammate, and just want to draw everyone's attention to the top left-hand corner here. 6 players left. Or 6 players with 5 duos. So 1 duo left, but the rest are solos. This is now a solo match, Kitty. So much for casting the duos. It looks as though these guys are going to want us to cast the solo game instead. But Donald's just really dropping down, look at the health on DeBeast there. He has full shield, but only half health. That may have been the work of the stink grenades there. Stompy playing the ultimate low ground, takes out DeBeast with 1 shot, and we are in a 1v1 situation now.
Yeah, these 2 coming up against each other. Both exceptional players. Stompy going for the trap. Demille is able to dodge it, but unfortunately does not have the health needed.
What?
That was a 2
HP finish. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I love to see. You know, when we first looked at Stompy and Shinken was down. He was out for the whole game that we just saw here from Zone 5 on. And Stompy was able, regardless, to secure that win for them with 10 eliminations. So putting in the work, regardless of his duos partner being gone, it didn't matter. He was there, he showed up, he played, he won. That's why, Kitty.
Yep, okay, I know, we heard your prediction. Okay, we may be seeing push-ups, we might not. Now we're coming in on another zone. Right now, guys, just cluing you in, we're coming in on the 5th zone of different games today, catching the most action of all these players. Europe right now has 18 minutes left, so all these lobbies that we're watching could potentially be the very last lobby of these players, their last chance to qualify for tomorrow, get into that top 3,000 mark, and these guys are playing just absolutely insane, out of their minds. I was really surprised by the size of the lobby, actually. I thought it would be bigger with this late in the points, but right there, getting the quick edit play onto Tacos, getting that elimination. These two are working together so well, even opted to match their skins together, which I love to see. And now they already have access in the zone. They're not going to need to make that rotation, but I think they're going to look now to be able to make some shots on their opponents as they rotate in.
Yeah, and if you take a look here at the zone, there's so many players, you know, that have decided to rotate early and be in that zone. We have the stragglers, though, so we're going to have to see maybe how that plays out, if they're going to try and fight each other, the people that are already set up in the zone, if they're going to be taking shots. The thing that I love about duos, Kitty, and I think you can attest to this as well, there's so much more communication. You have a second set of eyes that's able to give you so much information. You know, I see another player at 240 take shots, you know. There's just so much more you can be aware of and that you have to be aware of in duos, and I think that really speaks to me personally as a Fortnite player. I love that component and I love that chemistry you get to see between these teammates.
100%. Duos is my favorite to be able to watch. And now we're checking in on Mitra, who unfortunately does not have his duo Mongrel. He does look like he went down before we came in and started spectating this game. But, you know, he's not in a terrible position. He's got a lot of utility right now with those shadow bombs. And he's right on the perfect edge of the zone to be able to make that rotation. But the interesting thing with duos that you have to remember is as soon as the opponents smell blood, as soon as they know that you're solo, they want to be getting into that engagement with you right away, take advantage of the 2 versus 1 situation. So Mitro's got to be really careful not to signal that he's a solo player. Already picking up 9 eliminations, having that 89 points between the two of them as well is absolutely insane. Like, these are late game lobbies. He's picked up 9 eliminations, Pookie, and it looks like he is going to play more aggressive and go for that 10th. Nope, now opting to go for the rotation. No more shadow bombs after this, so he's going to have to play a little bit differently, but does drop down right onto that opponent, does take him out, gets that elimination, pops him for the siphon, gets that health back.
Yeah, and that was, I think, honestly, probably one of the best rotations that we've seen so far today. He knew that these players were not going to be expecting him to take low ground and just rotate in like that. And you know what? He's got the 2 campfires now, so if he does choose to heal up for the 4 health, he can. He may save those for late game, most likely, but he's sitting in a really great spot at this point. Regardless of if his duos partner is there or not, he's got everything he needs to win this game.
Definitely, and it's important to recognize how many resources he has as well. All these players now going for that next zone push. Lots of players on that low ground, not engaging with each other quite yet. We've got a few players looking to make plays for the high ground. Caxi now has that 2 eliminations, 1 more shadow bomb going on the pursuit for that opponent. I'm not sure, nope, that is not his teammate on the high ground, so he is going to look to take him out. Lukey spams L2, does go down, now looking to pick up another elimination, has those 3 limbs. We're in the top 17 players left, 11 duos total, so there are a couple duos still left in here. Mitra's still alive. RPG coming in from the high ground. He's got to be careful.
He definitely does have to be careful. One shot from that RPG could spell devastation for him. But it doesn't matter because he picks up another elimination on Shadow Twist and gets that 50 HP. and health back.
No!
But he does fall to Ardit. No, and just like that, that is how fast it can happen, Kitty. That is how fast you can take it out of this game. He did perform very well given the circumstances.
Yep, jumping into a box with two other players is not the best situation to have. Now we got Kaxi on that high ground, Chinosar on that low ground. A lot of players now fighting in that mid. Nolly does go down. Kaxi raining shots in, but does get a headshot in from Zul. Zul now looking to jump pad all the way into that high ground position. Beehive also fighting for that high ground.
He's
now
dropping down. Zul just dropped down behind Beehive and was like, you know what? I'm not going to go on the ultimate high. I'm going to go right down here below you. We're going to rain down on these other players and see what we can do. Ardit and Kaxi in horrible shape down at the bottom, just hanging on by a hair there, Kitty.
Yeah, Beehive and Zul right now are getting so many headshots, taking out these players. Kaxi does get an elimination onto Chinosar, but Zul drops down, gets a shot onto Squeeze. This is Beehive and Zul's game to win right now, and simultaneous shotgun shots onto the last two players, and a nice little L dance. Zing!
Oh my goodness, that's, you know what, you don't like to see it. You like to see it, but you don't like to see it. And you know what, a lot of these players, a lot of these guys, you know, they're friends. They're friends out of these games, and it's just, you know, really great to see them competing at this level together. But you know what? We've seen a couple of games from Europe now. We're going to go right over to just a 5-minute break here. We're going to come right back into the action, so stay tight and we'll see you soon.
For week 5. Oh yeah.
Are you going to block in anything?
There you go.
Woo! It's so cool. Oh, look at all the balloons. They look so different on the stream.
All right, let's begin the pun game. What you got?
I don't know. I'm really finding it hard. I'm trying to slurp all of this in.
Slurp it.
I can't bear the excitement. I'm having a ball being here. Listen, Zeke, some of us are speakers and some of us are listeners in this pun game.
Listen, I'm gonna throw that at you right now. That's getting thrown at you. Also, you can slip on that. Just slip. Well, I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
There they are.
It's a really unique edit right there. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Using the cone to kind of see through, and then also editing the wall so you can see all the way through.
There's drum gun versus tactical shotgun. Tactical shotgun reigns supreme there. Again, guys, get involved in the conversation. Hashtag Fortnite World Cup on Twitter.
Hey, Fortnite fans. I'm His Royal Highness Sir Dr. Reverend Mr. Jor Finkelstein III, JD, MD Esquire.
And I'm Alex.
So, Alex, production. Let's talk about that.
Okay, so production, we're basically in charge of everything that you see out of the screen. So when we have our beautiful hosts on screen, they're telling you what's going on. We're in charge of that. I'm the creative producer slash line producer, and Joe, you are?
I am the director slash broadcast director.
Slash my best friend.
watching Ben as he misses his first shot. Could it be me? If Ben wins this game, dude, I'll gift him 5 subs, bro. 5 subs. He's got height as well. Lupo can actually do this. Dr. Lupo pushing on in. The spray comes up. The drop down. The shot. What?
Get the gifts ready.
What?
Get the gifts ready.
I quit.
16 points. Benjamin, Dr. Lupo.
The people in this lobby, that's got to count as like community service for the elderly or something. There is no way they just let Lupo win that game. That's like a tax write-off, I think, or something for letting him win that. I've got to talk to someone. Why? Why do you guys watch me last week when I can't hit the broadside of a barn, and this week we watch Lupo beat this lobby of people that are playing with their knees, dude.
I'm looking at India's points right now. Right around 44 was, I think, what was the top 3,000 for Europe. Obviously, it's going to be different for each region.
Shoot it!
So what do we do?
Just shake your head, shake your head. We got shoe game.
Oh yeah.
The siphon makes the difference there for Ronan. Brilliant stuff to end that little bit of the NA West, but the action's not done yet. We've got our handsome co-casters ready to break down some of what we missed.
Hey.
Thank you so much again, Kitty and Courage, in some great matches.
Popsicles. We're eating popsicles because it's really hot back here.
Okay, worst person on the crew. 3, 2, 1. Zeke.
What? Fortnite! Let's go!
Yo, what up, Fortnite fam? DJ Zeke in the building. Hold on, I'm getting a phone call. Yo, what's up, dude? It's DJ Zeke. Yeah, man, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't know about the block party? Everyone knows about the block party. What do you... No, dude, it's a 2-day event, June 15th and 16th. The ticket's only $35. You gotta be there. What do you mean who's gonna be there? There's gonna be a ton of people there. You got Cloaksy, Pokimane, Valkyrae, Dr. Lupo, Loserfruit, Kurt JD, Brendan, Yuri, Martin Starr, Samara Redway, Marisha Ray, Tifu, Fear Itself. Everyone's gonna be there. Dog, it's a 2-day event. No, look, the first day is the creative showdown. Team Evolve built this dope game mode for all the fans to watch. The pro-am, yes, but that's day 2. Day 2 is the celebrity pro-am. They're battling out for a $3 million charity prize pool, dude. Yes. Are the fans gonna be there? Are you guys gonna be there? Yeah. Yeah, no, they say they're gonna be there. Of course, everyone's gonna be at the block party. Let's go, we'll go together. All right, okay, DJ Sundown. All right, I'll see you there. Sorry about that, Fortnite fam. Listen, block party, it's gonna be lit. Tickets are $35. You need to buy them because I cannot wait to party with you. Now, Fortnite fam, that's it from me. So DJ Zeke. Ow.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Fortnite World Cup Online Open Qualifier. Golden Boy here as we look to jump right back into some more games. We got you covered, baby. So let's send it over to our casters. We got Pook and Kitty Plays on the mic. Take it away.
Thank you so much, GB. Yes, I cannot wait to get back into these games. The EU division is just about wrapped, guys. After we get through this, we're going to be talking about some results and just seeing how well all these duos were able to measure up and who's going to be qualifying. We've got 7 more minutes. We saw that timer in that bottom left corner. Now we're heading in. We got 32 players remaining in here. It looks like Stompy already cleaning up in that action feed. We are going to get another Stompy lobby, Pookie. Wow, what a dominating team.
You know, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. They've just dominated the lobby so many times. We talked about it so much. And, you know, the one thing that I love that we're looking at here, yes, was that a double heavy snipe?
That was a double heavy
snipe. Let's go. I love that so much. It's one of my favorite mechanics in the game for duos. This is why I love duos so much. That teamwork, that camaraderie, all of it. It warms my heart, Kitty.
It warms my heart too, Pookie. I love seeing these players decide what they're going to do together, but also all these players have to decide to play together. There's so many incredible individual solo players, so being able to choose a person that's the right fit for you going into these games is so important. We're just checking out TSOO or TS. I'm going to have to get cleared up on that later on Twitter, guys, if you want to make sure I'm pronouncing everything right. Please send me a little notification there, and I will make sure that I do your name justice, because we got a lot of new players in here trying to make a name for themselves. This is the second to last duo weekend that they're able to qualify. The next one will be in 2 weeks, and Rennick, already picking up that elimination with the stink grenade right now, looking to finish it off, is taking fire down on his teammates, and his teammate does actually jump in, sir. Three eliminations on Sir, 1 on Rennick.
Yeah, and you see that quite a lot where duos will actually, if they know a situation is relatively safe, they'll split. So you'll have one that stays up on high ground and the other one kind of go in for the close quarter combat, just to make sure that they're applying even pressure from 2 different angles to make sure that whoever they're going up against really doesn't stand a chance.
No, not at all. And now they got that high ground as well. They're in a great position, lots of resources. Dan picks up that RPG. These guys got to be happy moving into the 6th zone.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to apply quite a bit of pressure. They only have 3 rockets in the RPG, though. And look at that in the elimination feed. Stompy picking up 3 eliminations, Kitty. This is going to be absolutely wild. These guys have been on not only a tear today, but all tournament. This whole World Cup qualifiers, you know, they've been just doing amazingly. You can see on the right-hand side there, we've got all of our points and how they're allocated throughout today and throughout these duo games. So victories netting you 10 points, and all of the placement points are there. But, you know, at this point, it's kind of like, you know, this is week 8, Kitty. You haven't qualified yet. You've been playing with your duos partners since week 2. Do you start changing your strategy, or do you just kind of go with everything?
Oh, I think players are always changing their strategy, especially with the new meta changes, the new gun adds, the new movement changes. I mean, we've seen the addition of slipstream since we started these qualifiers. So these players are always trying to refine where they're landing, where the best spot is, where they're getting the best opportunity to be able to navigate each game. And now we're spectating Kluja. We did see his teammate Siva get knocked and go down in the storm, but he's in a great position right now. He's got about half of max resources, has 7 rockets in that RPG. If he can get himself into this late game, he's definitely going to put that to work. Hopefully pick up some more eliminations for him and his teammate, and right away getting that pickup on Secret Milan. Such a quick reaction time, gets the cleans up that floor, takes the player down, has time to get the shotgun shot, gets some more fall damage onto that player as well. He is absolutely dominating this zone right now. 10 duos left, 14 total players. We got a lot of solos in here still, but we got Sir on the high ground. We saw them get that high ground earlier. Rennick and Sir have been able to maintain that. 4 eliminations so far. Rennick definitely needs some healing. I'm not sure if Sir will opt to drop that heavy or that large potion for him, but so far doing great. Has total eyes on the opponents below them. And now it's just up to them to pick whatever they can. Taking out Not a Res, does go down right away, was one of the solo players, and now we got Rennick. Does use it, the last of his rockets, picks up another elimination onto Milan.
Yeah, and you know what? Instead of actually utilizing that big pot from his partner, but we do, oh my goodness, we do see here, Kitty, I don't want to interrupt myself. But somebody's trying to take the high ground from him here. He did use the build to kind of say, no, sorry, this is our real estate, and we're not looking to sell right now. His partner does drop him that big pot, but I think kind of the strategy there was, you know, Rennick had the RPG, and I think, you know, it's very, very easy to get a knock on somebody from that high, and with Siphon being in the game, I think instead of utilizing that big pot right away, they played it properly. Rennick did get the Siphon, and then was able to top up to 200 with that big pot.
Yeah, love to see that. They're doing a great job right now as a team, and that's going to be the name of the game for our qualifiers today. All of these duos trying to get one of those final spots in the World Cup World Cup finals at the end of July. We got 4 players left now. TSOO, we spectated him earlier on the ultimate lie ground. Sir and Rennick, the only duo remaining. It is up to them to win this game. Kluja trying to take some shield, but he's got that shield, or he's got that storm right behind him that's preventing him from being able to do that. TS looking for the edit play onto him, does get it.
Wow.
Elimination, and now has that Siphon. Great health, but if he gets pinched here, he's not going to be able to win the game. And does get pinched. Rennick and Sir putting a class on in this duo competition, maintaining that high ground, getting that pinch. They know exactly how to sandwich their opponents and taking that victory royale.
They played it absolutely perfectly. They were so methodical with every decision that they made. We saw the end game there, you know, utilizing the Siphon, overtaking the shield. It's just small decisions like that, Kitty, that can really make a difference and get you the victory royale at the end of the day.
Yep, and every single point counts. Now these players are just playing for the top 3,000 spots to be able to play in tomorrow's finals to qualify for the World Cup at the end of July. We got 1 more minute left in Europe. All of these players are now in their final lobbies for their qualifiers, and Mokar is right now sitting with 52 points. These guys have got a nice loadout, the double heavy snipe right now that him and Richard are trying to utilize, and haven't quite got it, but I'm assuming we're gonna see one. There you go, getting that
I
shot.
knew as soon as he shot that shot. Oh, and there's another one! No way!
Yes,
Mokars has been
Mokars.
watching my stream, taking some lessons from the real Canadian sniper. Let's go.
Okay, big words coming out from Pookie. I'm going to need a confirmation of those snipe clips later to back that up. But these guys have got to be happy. They got that high ground. They got all that loot back, and I'm sure they're sitting great with resources. But we got a big lobby here. We got Fanta, Exotic Lucy. We've got Live Star in here. We've got Fames. All of these players within that range now for that top spot in these final lobbies.
Yeah, and you know, taking a look here at Sir and Rennick again, you know, they are sitting at 51 points. We see a lot of people right now around the 50 to 60 point mark. So we're going to have to see really, you know, after this, what that qualifying number is, what that minimum number of points is to be so that you can proceed into tomorrow. Hopefully punch your ticket to the World Cup finals at the end of July. 51 points is not bad, but I'd love to see them be able to pick up maybe a few more eliminations here, get a few placement points to really help secure that game for them.
7,
6, 5,
4, 3,
2,
1. 1-0, and that is the Europe qualifiers for tomorrow. It is done. You better be in your lobby right now if you hope to get points to qualify for tomorrow. Now we're watching Sir and Rennick again. These guys have been absolutely dominating. We got a huge lobby, but wow, all the plays today, absolutely exceptional. I love, this is one of the new skins in the item shop. I actually, I got it yesterday, and it's a great skin.
Almost looks like my jacket. I'm missing the studs on it. I think I need to bedazzle it with some studs, you know? Cosplay, maybe. Oh my goodness,
cosplay.
excellent.
Maybe for the World Cup.
Maybe World Cup, yeah, for sure. Now, we're looking at Rennick's loadout here. 6 shadow bombs. Oh my goodness, the man has utility for days. Also has a turret. 9 grenades.
Okay, we can talk all day about shadow bombs, but you know what? Me and my explosive. Okay, it is such a great utility. I always love seeing how these pros decide to carry them out, and hopefully we'll get to see them get used by these players. But oh, right away. Does actually get dropped in with that opponent on and puts the trap down. Doesn't get trapped, goes for Live Star, gets the elimination. Really quick decision making by Rennick, as expected by a player at his caliber. And all these players now needing to make that rotation. We got Chico super low health at the edge of the storm. He's going to be really careful not to get ticked down. Sir does take down Zytox. Look at these two players, Rennick and Sir, totally commandeering this high ground, not letting any players steal it away from him, blanketing for each other, reloading the heavy sniper. He's going to look to go for a play, but already has those 5 eliminations. He's sitting in a great position.
Yeah, and you can see here Sir just really trying to take shots with that combat shotgun, trying to.
Combo.
There it is again. You love to see it. You love to see it from these guys. They're executing it perfectly, just completely flawless every single time. And that combat shotgun really putting in work, trying to do as much damage to these other duos as they possibly can. Any amount of damage you can do late game like this is an advantage to you later. So they know that. They are trying to just use the ammunition that is in their guns. Going to put down a campfire here to heal up Rennick just a little bit. Double campfire. So he is going to be ticking 2 a second. And now we're looking over here. He says, you know what, forget the campfire. I might as well just try and get some scythe in here, which looks like he is going to try and get some shots on this player down here. Doesn't actually pick up anything with the drum gun, but doesn't matter. Pushes forward. They are still sitting on ultimate high, Kitty.
Yeah, they are not going to give it up. These players will hold that till the end of the game. We got 13 players remaining, 9 duo teams left, so we still got a couple duos, not all solos in this lobby. But one of the things that's really interesting to me is these guys have not had to use their shadow bombs at all either. Oh, looks like okay, I might have cast or cursed them. A player did just steal the ultimate high ground, and right away you see them. Where are you? Let's get back together. Let's work as a team. Does get that knock onto Lucy. Now dropping down even further, but these guys are not leaving that 5-yard range between the two of them. It's almost like they have a bit of a leash tied between them, making sure that they are stacked right on top of each other, taking every advantage of having the teammate as possible.
Yeah, and you can see Rennick there getting the siphon from Lucy that he did knock earlier, and Sir also picking up a knock there as well. So he does have 2 mini pots left. He should probably try to use them here at some point. He's getting very low, but it doesn't matter. Takes out Clinberry just like that. And we do have 4 players remaining, 3 duos left. So there is 1 solo, but these guys are on an absolute tear, Kitty.
These guys are, like I said earlier, putting on a clinic in duos. Noxie does have the high ground. That is in his favor right now, but with the combined spray of these 2 guys, they can knock him down right away. Noxie notices this, does opt to go down a little bit. Sir does make a play for that high ground, but Noxie's just looking for any opportunity he can get onto both players. He knows he's at a disadvantage. He does not have that teammate with him, gets clean shots onto him. And what are you going to do when you have both of these players who don't miss a shot on that low ground firing up on you, ending their game on 10 eliminations on Sir and 4 on Rennick? That is absolutely insane. These guys are going to be one to watch up for tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? They ended that game so strong. I really hope it takes them into tomorrow. But you know what? Let's talk to Golden Boy a little bit about how he enjoyed those European games.
Whoop, whoop.
Well, definitely did enjoy it, and the good news is I got you covered because we're going to find out who is in our top 10. You got GB standing by with Balla. Now, Balla, why don't we break down the standings and where we are for Europe going into tomorrow?
Let's go ahead and take a look here at the standings. It's again, no surprise, Shinken and Stompy are at the top. In second place, Margul and Mitro, and then Fuxy and... I mean, these guys have all done it already. Come on, let other people have their day.
Well, hey, you know, think about it like this, though. If these guys continue to perform incredibly well, that just gets knocked down to all these other players for tomorrow. So, you know, granted, I understand, like, the desire to finish at #1, but you just want to punch your ticket to New York. So it doesn't really matter how you get there. You just got to get there. Maybe these duos outperform again tomorrow, and then it ends up getting knocked down a few spots there because they're already qualified. Can't qualify 2 times.
We do have to keep in mind, though, that just because queues are closed does not mean the games are over, that everybody is still playing their final game, and it's kind of tight. It's not that spread apart between, like, what we saw in the OC and Asia regions in the semifinals already. They were, 40 points ahead here. It's only a couple points difference, so it could still shake up. Players could start saying, hey, I want to take the top spot in the semifinals day.
Yeah, and I think that certainly will affect those players that are sitting in the top 1,500, maybe in the lower ends of that as well, to be able to make it for those matchups tomorrow for Sunday's games, because we've only got a few spots left for Europe to qualify for the Fortnite World Cup. But we're going to go back into some games. Let's send it back over to your casters to break down the action.
Hello, thank you very much, GB. Not really sure what was going on there. A couple of technical difficulties, but we are back here with Basto. Looking at, them sitting here just at the edge of the zone. We haven't really seen very much from them at all. So we're gonna have to see maybe how they pull through and I haven't seen their gameplay. I haven't really seen anything from these guys. So let's take a look and see how they use these rotations up the side of this cliff here. Sitting at 1 elimination each for the pair. Very good on resources, very good with utility. So, Kitty, what do you think?
Anytime I see a player that has an RPG in their inventory with max rockets in it, I'm feeling pretty confident for the 2 of them. Basto and Blackie in a great position, and having obviously those shadow bombs for the rotation. This is ideal. This is what you want to be as a team, and right away you see them putting it to work, and they're going to get a rift off of that too. Not that they needed any more rotation, but I'd be surprised to see if these players aren't able to pull off the victory royale. But there are 10 duos still left. 1 solo is in this match as well, and it's going to be, they still have some competition to be up against.
Yeah, and you know what? Just looking at these guys, the way they're moving together through their builds, the way they're actually rotating, it's so important in these games to really be attached at the hip when you are making rotations, because all it takes is 1 player to drop into your builds and take you from, sitting at the top of the world, max health, max utility, max ammo, rockets, everything like that, to literally just being on your own. Then your duo's partner's gone, and it's going to be a rough spot for you for the rest of the game. So I really like how they're moving together and you know, just looking like a duos team. So we have this huge mountain that these guys are going to have to rotate through, and you see everyone kind of starting to make this slow rotation. We are moving into the 6th zone, but I don't think Mert is toxic actually, or maybe he did mean to go through, break those builds, uses the Shadow Bomb, does take a little bit of damage there, but is going to try to make that early rotation so that he can hopefully gatekeep and get a little bit of damage on these players looking to move.
Yeah, he needs to meet up with his teammate, which he does. Both of them taking those small shields. BTC and Ethereum is able to take those shields as well. Makes a rotation earlier. And Mert getting a quick, heavy snipe onto his opponent. Does go, is going to interact with that door, making another rotation now. It's really interesting to see these guys splitting up a bit for their rotation earlier, but now you do see them neck and neck making it into the zone. They had to go up this hill. Now they got to go down this hill. And if you're new to Fortnite and you haven't played in these late games, using this higher and lower ground is one of the most difficult areas to navigate in these late games. But these guys are pro, almost going a little bit too far off of the edge. Now the zone is moving up in the other direction, so they're taking advantage of those shadow bombs, able to clip the side of the hill and bounce right up. Now we got Lunas in here. Wasn't a bit of a 1v1 engagement. Looks like it's now turning into a 2v1. Has those shields though, able to replenish that shield and then engage with his opponents again.
Yeah, and you know, to your point, talking about the Shadow Bomb rotations, they've reserved so many mats by doing that. Lunas is going to break into the 1x1. Mistake did make a mistake there by not watching his back, and he is sent back to the lobby. That could very well be his last game, Kitty, and it looks like Lunas just turns, does a massive flick, and takes out NGK. So he's just looking very, very strong right now, using the sides of those builds and the side of those hills to make sure that the Shadow Bomb is not going to wear off. Look at him, Kitty, using the side of this to make sure that he can. There. You know, that was some acrobatic and fancy footwork, if you ask me. But down to his last Shadow Bomb here, using it for the early rotation to put up a 1x1 and really just get his bearings and maybe take some shots at these rotating players.
Yep, does find himself in the zone now in a 1v1 with BTC and ETH. Does get that elimination, but he's in a 2v1 now, and like I said earlier, 13 rockets in an RPG. Hasn't used any of them since we last spectated these guys. Now he is just going to rain down on Lunas, and it's up to Lunas to build in any way he can. But when he's got that drum gun raining down on him with the RPGs on top of that, he's in a very, very bad position now. It'll be interesting to see how he's able to get out of it. Interestingly enough, Blackie does drop down onto Lunas, but not enough when you've got that fire coming in from Basto, who does pick up that elimination on Lunas when he was focused on his teammates.
Yeah.
So, great teamwork by these two, with great, utility to work with, and congratulations on that victory royale. But we're not done yet.
We're not done, Kitty. And you can see just a skeleton of all of these builds having to go up and down that high ground multiple times. It really makes endgame difficult when you have to make rotations like that, but a lot of those guys handle it like the pros that they are. So hopping right into this next game, we've got CIS Monkey Kelpie, hopefully pronouncing that name correctly, but he's looking to just apply some pressure here, get some damage on the players with this stink bombs. They do 5 damage per tick, so he is able to get that one clean shot off on Adrian. Adrian does go down. This zone is going to start moving, so we're going to have to see if he is able to be revived. He is trying to crawl out of harm's way, but it looks like Healthy and Step TR are actually going to be applying the pressure now that they know that they have the knock.
Yeah, and his teammate does look to abandon him and get out of dodge. Now he's moving into the new zone. We've got 11 duos left in this lobby, 17 players, so a few solos in here now. But Step, right now, we look at his inventory. He's got lots to work with. We just saw him expend all of his grenades in that engagement to make sure that he secured that knock, but doesn't need them. Okay, he's got that AR, picks up a really, really clean elimination out of the sky, and now they know they've got some opponents below them. It's just up to them to coordinate their fire to be able to pick up some more eliminations.
Yeah, he is going to have to be careful with how much pressure he does choose to apply here. Only seeing 84 rounds in his AR, not really much else. So we're going to have to see how he utilizes that. Perhaps his duos partner will be able to split him some ammo. There is a drop that just dropped down to their left. They do have the option to go for that as well. But at this point, it looks as though they're sitting at 95 points. They may just be going for straight eliminations, Kitty.
Yeah, I hope we get to see it. I love watching aggressive gameplay out of these players, and it's so interesting to be in Zone 6 right now and only have 15 players, 9 duos left in here. These have not been the largest lobbies of all time, but really interesting to see how these players are navigating that with the less opponents, and now able to peek, you know, a little wider, not worry about all his angles in the same way that you do in the higher population lobbies, and fire these shots down on the players in the center.
Yeah, and there's so much to keep track of, way more than in solos, because not only do you have to keep track of, oh, and there he goes, he did split some ammo there for his teammate. Not only do you have to actually keep track of, you know, where the other players are on the map, but you need to keep track of what your duos partner is doing as well. If he doesn't communicate when he decides to move or shoot at a target, you know, you're going to be a little bit behind, and that split second can really make a difference in these late game engagements.
Oh, and they do get rid of that jump pad right before Najak was trying to jump onto it, and he does get eliminated. There is another jump pad that gets dropped down and is able to get taken. Risk It SA does take that community jump pad, but these guys are going to have their ultimate high ground knockdown. Thankfully, they're able to connect onto that mid ground and maintain that high ground. Risk It, actually, we just saw him take that jump pad, does take ultimate high ground away from that duo and immediately goes for elimination, not worried about contesting his high ground. Gets that knock onto that player, now going for the play. He wants to make sure that he secures that, gets the siphon. He's already low from the couple takes he took from the zone. Gets the opponent now getting 2 eliminations and a third. Absolutely mad lad, picking up an elimination onto Step, and he's got his teammate right there next to him now. They've managed to meet up again. They've got that high ground. They've got to make sure that there's no players that are going to steal this away from them using those jump pads or those rips.
Risk It is seeing absolutely everything just in slow motion, it would seem, Kitty. He is anticipating what his opponents are going to do before they actually do it, using the waterfall down to kind of get a little bit of a closer eye to see where his opponents are going to be, dropping some builds there for his partner so that they split it up so that they're both sitting at an even number. Damplay taking shots, isn't going to connect with anything, but look at Brad Melly. He is up on the side of the mountain there with the shadow bomb, trying to actually assert dominance here and take high ground, but he falls down, drops down to 11 health there with 27 shield, takes a hit for 77 on an opponent here, is going to look to try to get the siphon, and he does get it on Lazy, but then is quickly brought back down to 11 health in total and is taken out of the game entirely.
Yeah, if Kelpie was able to secure that elimination, it would have been so good for him with that RPG for the late game, but now we've got a 2v1 situation again. Risk and Khan dropping down. Melly is able to secure that elimination onto his opponent, does get that siphon. Now the zone's moving south, or west, I guess. He is going to be okay, doesn't need to go up this hill, but Risk is not going to give him any opportunity to get any shields off. He's going right in for the aggressive play. Melly does find time to heal while he's reloading, and that heavy sniper going to look to make a heavy snipe play, but he doesn't have a huge advantage anymore. He does now at very similar health and looking to make any play he can, looking for that peek, looking for that push, looking for any opportunity he can get. A 1v1 situation, both trying to win it for their duo.
Yeah, and you can see Risk It here just being very methodical, doesn't want to actually challenge Broadmelly here. Broadmelly does make a play for high ground, but Risk It is on top of it, tries to stay on top, pyramids down to prevent Broadmelly from actually building. Broadmelly is going to try and get that one mini off. He does get it, does take a little bit of storming damage, but that's okay. These rotations, Kitty.
No!
Oh, you hate to see it. Is completely eliminated there by gravity. Gravity just took him out there. It takes one small mistake. He looked so strong going into that final engagement. I don't think Risk It was actually expecting his opponent to put up such a fight the way he did, but hats off to both of those players. Hats off.
Game pressure.
They put on a show there, Kitty.
Yeah, really interesting to see, like, in those finals, it's not even the very final zone, but we've got a 1v1 situation. So these duos lobbies are definitely a lot different than what we've been seeing in past weeks. And with the meta, you know, maybe making it so less players are surviving till the end. But we got Tohaj right now, does have access to that baller. We haven't seen a lot of baller perspectives yet today, but now we got one. Does have his teammate Blood, who is right next to him, matching skins. And we talked about this earlier, the importance of almost having a leash between you and your teammate, and to be able to go with each other into every engagement so you have that 2v1 advantage like we just saw. Keto dropping in with these guys and immediately getting traded out and getting that elimination for the duo. They've got 2 eliminations total now, and just boxing up, using all their metal and making sure that they're splitting up the resources necessary. There's so much strategy in deciding who gets what and when you're trading and how you're able to utilize all the different things. Are you more of a confident sniper? Are you more confident with grenades? And making sure that whoever has what they're the best at in their inventory so that they can secure that late game.
Yeah, and just to speak to your point there, you know, we talked a little bit about players who are actually matching. Now, they do it for more than aesthetic purposes here. Tohaj taking some shots there with a grenade launcher, expends all 6 of the grenades, doesn't actually get any damage there. But the reason why a lot of these teams tend to coordinate isn't because of a fashion choice. It's literally because if you're shooting at a duo and you're not able to tell which one you've damaged and by how much, that actually puts your opponent at a disadvantage.
Yep.
It puts you at the advantage. You can kind of hide behind your partner if they have more health. They think, you know, that they've damaged you when in reality it's your partner. So there's more strategy involved in coordinating the skins than really what people think. And it tends to disorient and confuse the opponents a little bit more. So you love to see it. They have a little bit of a different back bling here. Tohaj looking to rock the John Wick back bling, the coin there.
Simultaneous shadow bomb for the rotation, getting that early positioning now so they're able to take shots on their opponents. But they do find the low ground and a stink bomb on top of them, taking a lot of damage from Sammy and their teammate Serene XO. And now Sammy and Serene looking to take shots backwards now, not looking to pursue their stink bomb targets. Instead, maybe picking up an easy elimination as the people push into the zone. Does pick it up, needs those resources, does stack up now, has 114 and gets picked up in that rift by their teammate waiting for them in the zone. Now looking to just coast down. They know that there's a corner of this new zone that does have that mountain high ground. Maybe hoping to wait until then to get that early positioning on the high ground and shoot down on their opponents. We got Camo in this lobby. We got Tohaj in this lobby. We got Marconix in this lobby. Lots of players. These are the last lobbies of the Europe division. The queues have been closed and we are just catching up with the highest point lobbies from today.
Yeah, and here we're taking a look at Lukey. Now, he is trying to have to navigate up this mountain, but fortunately for him, there are players in his path that he is going to be able to take out. He takes out Camo completely. He drops to him and also takes out Doma as well, but does get shots taken on him, utilizing other players' ramps and builds to try to save his own to get up the side of this mountain. Those are some excellent reflexes by him. He is going to look for another elimination, does decide to pop the mini potion first. Very smart play. If he can get in these builds and maybe fire off an RPG, there it is. Gets 121 damage. Not actually able to clean anything up off of that at all. But he is going to drop down. He's just going on a rampage, Kitty.
Oh, and he needs his elimination now for that siphon. Gets the siphon. It's going to survive a little longer in the zone now because of it. Dropping right into the zone now. 20. Ooh, just makes it inside of the zone. Has that RPG now. He needs any elimination he can get. Goes for the last minute. Siphon falling elimination. Isn't able to connect. It does go down to fall damage. Now we got lots of players left in this lobby still. Kluja, Cartoon, Shines. Lots of players fighting it out in these final lobbies. Tohaj, we saw earlier, does go down to Kluja. Kluja's got this ultimate low ground now. His opponent's up above him. He has no teammate. This is a solo situation. 8 players remaining, 6 duos. That means there's 2 duos still in this lobby. He's got to be careful for. Doesn't want to get himself into a 2v1 situation. Is going on the aggressive. Gets the shot on Ardit. Goes for the double trap finish. Really clean by him. 94 points now. Is going to want to get that final victory royale. So get those placement points. We're in a top 4 situation now. Milan also on this low ground with him. He's got to be careful. There are a duo up top high ground, and it's interesting. On these 3 solos are going to probably engage, but Sammy picking up that elimination before he's able to drop down to high ground. Kluja does go for the high ground using that jump pad. Milan brought down so low. Kluja does connect, gets that high ground, has it taken out by Serene. Serene knows they're up above him. It doesn't have any resources, it looks like, does make a play with the Shadow Bomb instead. Kluja on the high ground, Sammy firing up above. Serene needs to get out and take shots on Kluja as well. Does get taken out. Fortunately, Sammy is there for their teammate, and they pick up that victory royale.
You know, I wasn't actually sure if Kluja was going to let the G-Bots boys get away with that one. He was applying so much pressure. He knew that he had Serene low and had to capitalize on that. Definitely made a play for it, but it just wasn't enough, Kitty.
Yeah, that timing too with the jump pad to get the high ground, able to connect, but got taken out. Great gameplay coming out from these final Europe lobbies. Now we're coming in on another lobby. Like I said earlier, guys, we are coming in on the 5th or 6th zone of the top point lobbies from the European region. We're checking out Leo J right now. Okay, sitting on